YouTube, how we doing? PPS here, past the prop, ready to roll. It is full game day right here, right? We got 15 gamer. First day of August. Happy August. It's already, 1 month from the actual regular season of football. So you guys know we'll be back for that. Honestly, I might be doing, baseball stuff Monday, Wednesday, and doing just the NFL show for me, at least on Friday. Just because it's going to be it's busy time now. I think preseason just started yesterday. I know you look at that. I don't look at shit for preseason, unfortunately, but I know Stu will get you covered there. Stu, how you doing today, man?
Doing good. I mean, obviously recovering from trade deadline yesterday, how insane that was. We got a little bit of a break in terms of the actual slate, only a couple games. But, yeah, just peak craziness. I would say probably one of the most memorable deadlines I can remember. The only one I remember, like, when I was a kid and I was playing baseball, and I remember, like, when Cespedes got traded and everyone was, like, gathering around and going crazy. Like, I remember I have some memories like that. But, yeah, I mean, this feels like one of the most impactful deadlines in a while. And obviously, as a Nats guy, pretty much got rid of a bunch of guys except Mackenzie Gore. So, feeling pretty good about that. Flipped essentially a bunch of, I don't want to say losers, but guys we got for nothing for, orgs like 10th, 15th ranked prospects. Maybe there'll be something, maybe they won't. But, those guys weren't going to be on our team anyway going forward. So feeling pretty good about it. And, yeah, excited to bet some baseball.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff moving, a lot of moving parts. I was fine with the Nestor move for the Brewers because he's not going to make the rotation. He wasn't ever going to be back in it.
That caught me off guard, but it makes sense with the
with Miz actually coming in and throwing, and honestly probably getting down to a 3-4 man rotation in playoffs. There's just no spot for him. I just don't think that there's a way to make that happen. So I wasn't expecting the move, but obviously I'm fine with the move. I told you, and I'll say this forever, guys. If Brewers win with Antanasio being the owner, it's the greatest thing of all time, bro. Because he's the worst owner in baseball. He will never spend money, and it will never happen, right? Just people always say, like, hey, why did the Brewers do anything? Well, it's been the same for fucking ever, dude. It's because Antanasio's fucking cheap bitch. He sucks. He's the worst owner in baseball. You cannot tell me otherwise. At least the Rays are fucking figuring shit out. At least the A's are, making huge moves. I think the A's won that trade by a lot. I mean, like, that guy's Bowman cards are $400 or $500, bro. Like, when you start going in, that's how I look at it, So, like, I collect prospects and do a lot of, trading cards in that way. This stuff is insane, bro. You can't find any of his shit for cheap at all. So, I don't know, man. I thought that was a little overpay for a fucking reliever. I know you have 4 years of control. I get that, but I don't know. It seems a little much for me.
I mean, what isn't he like I know he's their number one prospect. Isn't he the number 3 overall in baseball?
Yeah, overall, and he's middle infield.
Oh my God, like that. Talk about like a commitment right there. I mean, yeah, wow, especially with how many relievers were on the market as well. Obviously, Miller, fantastic, all that control. A lot of rumors on Twitter were saying people thought they were going to try to stretch him back out in the offseason and try to actually like as a starter. That would make sense given the cost they gave up. They've already done that with King as well. So, I mean, I don't know. That would make more sense. You know what I mean? And obviously you get Sears. I guess he finally can escape that ballpark in athletics. But, is he going to be a playoff starter? JP Sears, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't really – I wouldn't feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like, just like when the Cubs traded for Soroka. It's like, man, Soroka's got like 4 to 5 really good innings sometimes. But you want that guy starting a playoff game for you in the World Series or whatever? I don't know. But – it'll be interesting. And, yeah, shout out to the A's. Young core, you know what I mean? Obviously added more prospects to it. If they can just, like, spend a little money, like you said, get some real ownership going or something like that, that's a dangerous team looking forward,
Yeah, a lot of young guys, which you like to see as a fan there. They're not going to spend a ton of money, but you're still able to keep, Rooker, keep Butler and all those guys intact. Definitely not the worst setup there for them. A lot of young guys coming through. Yeah, I mean, I'm always fine with sending prospects. It's just you can't that's like Jesus Made for the Brewers. Like, he's like fucking top 10 prospect. He's number 1 in the Brewers system. Like, you're not moving him unless you're getting fucking a dude with not just a rental, not a full rental. So, Arizona Twins both kind of sending the entire shop gone. So, how do you get people to pay for tickets now?
Yeah, the Twins one is crazy. And even that Joe Ryan notification that then got deleted by everyone where people were thinking he was going to go last second. I mean, yeah, just pretty much how many guys they sent out? Like 6, 7 dudes on that team? Like,
I think it might have been more than that, to be honest.
as a fan, I mean, that's got to suck, you know?
They're a playoff team, dude. I mean, they're a playoff team last year. Like, yeah. I can't believe they got rid of Griffin Jacks. I think that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like, that just seems like pennies. Unless you really think your pitching staff can work with Taj Bradley and think he can go back to what he was, that's a really bad trade. I have Griffin Jacks. I picked him up after Duran got traded. I'm like, dude, I'm going to get some saves here. Nope. Gone. I think it's because he motherfucked the ownership, too, after his start because they brought him in the game because he hasn't thrown in a couple days and they were losing. Like, why the fuck are you bringing in your guy 8-1? You're going to throw him in an 8-1 game? What are we doing here? So,
yeah. And also, once again, Bradley's going from an org that is known for saving, like, and helping pitcher. You know what I mean? Like, they're one of the teams that's been really, like, reworking guys and helping them out. So it's like, do you trust your team to do better than that? You know, same kind of, yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. Definitely. And the one thing I hated, too, is how many guys went to the fucking Mets and Phillies. You know, not that the Nationals are competing this year, but just to have to play against those bullpens now, they both loaded. I mean, the Mets loaded up. Obviously, Cedric Mullins. I like the Orioles as well, you know, another local team. Seeing him leave them kind of was a bummer. I was hoping he would stick around, and now it's going to the fucking Mets, I believe. Like, you know, little annoying, you know, over here. But those teams definitely got better for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get into talking today's slate. Like I said, we have a huge slate today. What game's catching your eye there, Stu?
Yeah, let's see. I told you before I'm going to be going to the Nats Brewers game tonight. So that'll be fun. Obviously, it'll take up most of my day. It's Grateful Dead Day at the ballpark as well, so they got free shirts. You know, if there's free shirts, I'm there. You know what I mean? That's the biggest selling point. I'll take a hat, a shirt, all that stuff. So that's kind of, you know, that has to be my number one. I'm fucking going there in person. You know, but. I don't know. Beyond that, the one I'll be talking about a little bit later, Mets Giants, should be pretty solid. Giants also, unfortunately, sold a lot of guys as well. Got pretty much that bullpen just kind of tore it apart there, and that was, you know, one of their big advantages for a while. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward as well.
Yeah, I just don't get the Yankees there. I just don't understand that. Like, this Yankees and the Padres, like, how many dudes are you gonna cut? Like, you know, like, they're just sending all these minor league guys, and it's like, well, now you have Robert Suarez. What are you going to pull him out of the closer role now? You know, because you got Miller there. Like, the Yankees now have four guys who closed games this year. I mean, Bednar's been kind of dog shit. Obviously, Devin Williams has been dog shit, right? And what's his face can't stay healthy. Weaver. So it's just like, I know, all over the place. And then you bring in Duvall, like. I don't know, man. It's tough moving a guy from the closer spot to the setup role. It's just not the same. So a lot of guys can't do it because you're just used to being in that spot, and then you're throwing them in. It almost feels like a lower leverage spot, and some of them just can't do it. So, I think that's going to be a tough one there. I think for me, on today's slate, I think I do like your call for the Mets game. I always like watching Pivetta throw. But I'm really curious about this fucking Arizona Athletics game in the Athletic Stadium, bro. Because we're going to see some runs there, bro. I think 9.5 is a pretty cheap price tag. I thought it'd be a lot higher. I'm assuming they're just thinking that Lopez is going a couple innings and it turns into a bullpen game. But now that you look at some of these teams, bro, they got to get the job done, dude, with some of these guys that are just not ready to do it yet. So, like, Twins, Fade City, bro. They're Fade City. Like, not like you can look at all the numbers you want, but like today it's a little different, right? Because they're facing Gavin Williams and you have Joel Ryan on the hill. But if you give me anybody who's not their top dude, what the fuck am I doing with them, right? I mean, it's pretty much Jeffers and Buxton here from their top 7. Everybody else is gone, dude. Like, I really wish the Brewers would have got Willie Castro. I like Willie Castro. Obviously, he went to the Cubs. But I really wish the Brewers would have got him because I'm a big fan of Castro there. And hopefully this Twins team don't go under, man, because I always enjoy them. They're the closest team pretty much here outside of Chicago for me. I've gone to a couple of Twins games. It's a great stadium, but, yeah, their team's going to be fucking done for a while.
Yeah, it's just got to be depressing. And even the team you just talked about too, Diamondbacks. I mean, they just had a run last year. You know what I mean? Like you'd think like you're setting up for it again, and then a couple guys get traded out of there. Obviously, they're not like full giving up. Like it's not. It's more short term. Not like long term, but still probably a punch to the gut. I know we got some Arizona boys in my Discord as well, and some people that watch the show. So I feel for you guys as well, because I'm sure you go into the season, you add in Burns, you're like, okay, we're going right back to it, and then kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And you just have an absolute garbage fucking contract with Zach Gallen too, so that just doesn't help either. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's get on our way. We got 20 of you guys here in the live chat. If you could hit that like button, we always appreciate that. And so I'll kick it over to you talking about our teams matching up today.
Sounds good. Yeah, like I said, be there in person. You used to always tout your great Brewers record. I'm 0-3 in Nats games this year so far. No wins so far. So unfortunately, we'll hope that continues. But yeah, got a little parlay right here available on both DraftKings and Bet365. And yeah, also Mitchell Parker, it's honestly pretty solid price for the no win. I don't really like this matchup for him. Obviously, the Brewers, we've talked about them in recent weeks about, just how well they've done just in general. But it's more even on the national side, right, in the matchup against Quintana. One of my favorite things to do has been fade the Nationals against guys that generate a lot of soft contact. We talked about it a little bit with Framber the other day. It wasn't my show play, but I brought it up with like guys that, obviously strike you out, whatever, but guys that can induce that soft contact and make you swing early in those counts. Washington leads the league in ground ball rate. They're a fairly aggressive swing team. You just you take out Alex Call as well, who was the least aggressive batter on the team. He was drawing the most walks per at bat. So you take one, kind of threat out there. Like, I think it's just going to be soft contact city for Washington. Once again, we already talked about James Wood has been going through it recently. Really, the only guy that's kind of doing much is CJ Abrams up at the top of that order. He keeps cooking right now. If anyone's got him on your fantasy team, I'm sure you're feeling pretty good about that. He's kind of been the silver lining, which is at least good to see. But the thing I want to talk about, and the reason I wouldn't have just done like Brewers money line or whatever in general with the Parker no win is the Nationals bullpen was already the worst bullpen in the league. They then just traded the three best living arms that were in their bullpen, including their closer, Kyle Finnegan. If this game is like remotely close after the sixth inning, and even if the Nationals are leading, I mean, Jose A. Ferrer is going to be their closer. The guy's got a 6 ERA. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, there is nothing at the back of that bullpen. I don't know if Washington's got a guy that even throws harder than 97 coming out of the bullpen. Like, it is a mess. And once again, Brad Lord was, funnily enough, their best bullpen guy. He's in the starting rotation now. So they've had to call up random minor leaguers that I barely even know their names. You know what I mean? And guess what? Washington's AAA team also had the worst bullpen ERA in all of AAA. So it's not like you even got promising guys to call up. You got the worst major league, bullpen ERA, and then you got the worst fucking minor league bullpen ERA as well. So I just we talk about it all the time. The no win is like a 3-leg parlay. You know what I mean? Like, Parker could still leave this game with the lead. And like many Nationals pitchers have seen this year, the bullpen can easily choke that away at the end right there. So like that is a good parlay piece. It's honestly a little bit better priced than I would have expected, sitting at about minus 300 right now. But I think that's probably because Quintana, old, crafty veteran, whatever. He's not going to get much respect in market. But those are just the guys that I love to take against Washington because I've just seen it so many times. I've seen it play out over and over, soft ground ball after soft ground ball. And I think that's probably going to be what the recipe is tonight as well. As for Robbie Ray, doing a little bit more of the heavy lifting, going up against the Mets tonight. We already know Robbie Ray is like the king of this walk market. If I had to think of one guy that I really think represents this market, I mean, Robbie Ray's made probably more money than anyone else, right? His number is currently sitting at 2.5 plus money. I probably will take a little bit of that. And then maybe even a little bit 4 later as well. I do want to see Juan Soto officially in the lineup. That would be nice. We don't have obviously lineups at freaking 12:30 right now, but their manager did go and say that they were very happy. He had a little bit of soreness. They kept him out for precaution in that last game, but he is expected to be back in the lineup. There were no negative medicals that I read. I read through every single beat reporter. And so if the manager's saying he's going to be back in that lineup, then that's obviously a huge boost. I will say Robbie Ray did face them very recently with 3 walks. and Soto was only one of those walks. So, I mean, he still would have went over theoretically in a Soto-less game, right? He still walked 2 guys as well, which is good to see. But yeah, Robbie Ray against the number 1 walk rate team over the last month just feels like a parlay piece that I'm dying to jump on. You know what I mean? Robbie Ray 2 walks. I'd be willing in a lot of circumstances to take Robbie Ray against like bottom 10 walk rate teams, because the guy won. If you look at his last month, his fastball velocity has been down. His strikeout rate has been down. It looks like he has less confidence in the fastball because he's been throwing it less. Like, I just don't have a lot of faith in Robbie Ray overall. And I think, once again, this team that's been relatively smart with their swing decisions, their high-level walk team, I think Robbie Ray is going to continue to add to his tally of 2 walk games. So kind of simple simple parlay right here. Robbie Ray 2 walks, Mitchell Parker no win, -105.
Yeah, I do not mind these combos, obviously. I don't even think we recapped our last one. This reminds me just because we just talked about your bet there a little bit, and we talked about Darvish on the last show.
Yeah.
Soto coming out of the game, dude, that's a game changer, bro.
Yep.
And I kind of mentioned that at the end, just because he came out with like a bruise on his foot. I would definitely read about it and figure it out, because if he plays, that Ray number's probably moving. There's very few guys who can do that number to market, and there's probably Judges, right? I think it's pretty much Judge and Soto, pretty much. Those would be my 2 guys. Maybe Ohtani. So Ohtani's a little more of a free swinger. But those 2 are those guys that it's like, okay, we got to make sure that we get them back in to make sure that this is the best bet that we can make it. Because, yeah, that Darvish one it was tough, because it's like you take out Soto in the middle of there, and it's just like, oh, fuck, who are we filling that with? Fucking Jeff McNeil? What? Really? That's going to be the filler in that spot? Like, it's a big change. So Terrence posting that he's in the lineup today, so that's great. I think that's definitely a good spot. I know mine. I had Gore under 17.5 outs. Shout out Cooper Hummel, baby. Give that little quick shout out to Cooper Hummel. What an at bat. Obviously, I gotta give my quick hate first, and that's the Astros finding a way to almost lose this bet. How are you losing this? Because with 1 out in the 5th inning, I'm like, we're chilling. He's at 86 pitches. You do a strike him out, throw him out with Christian Walker swiping second. What are we doing, dude? Really? And you have Cam Smith hitting. That dude is not getting fucking doubled. What are we doing? And I'm like, I'm done, bro. That sucks. Because they're bringing him out if he's under 90. And I'm like, fuck. He goes back out there. Like I said, shout out Cooper Hummel. 2-run nuke. Awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome, dude. I don't think he had a homer all year. I think he had 1. And the dude hits a nuke to send Mackenzie Gore to the fucking bench. So that was hype, bro. I don't even know if they make Cooper Hummel jerseys, bro. If I would have put a hammer on that, I would have definitely got a jersey. But I don't even think they make them, unfortunately. So shout out Cooper Hummel doing your thing. Yeah, and you guys know we've been on like 4 or 5 in a row where I've been playing plus money. I ain't going to stop now. I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to go Logan Gilbert 7 strikeouts with the Angels White Sox over 6.5. Plus 107. I think this is a very good price. If I was to tell you the White Sox, man, in a bet for an over, people are looking at me like, what the fuck you doing? Well, they're the 3rd best team in the MLB over the last 15 days in OPS. They have been smashing lefties, dude. Like, I don't know if people are paying attention, but they've been smashing them outside of that Luzardo start, right? But Luzardo is, I think he only had 4 strikeouts. Like, he didn't do anything, but he went 7 shutout, but only 4 Ks, right? So they've been really good at putting the ball in play. And now you have them heading to L.A., getting a lefty and Tyler Anderson, who's not going to make you swing and miss. Obviously, going for the soft contact. I think we see the White Sox pick it up a little bit here. They got a lot of young talent, and you start to see them start to pick it up, right? And they're playing good baseball. They have an 852 team OPS over the last 15 days. That's 12 games. That's not a small sample, right? That's a pretty big sample for a team hitting this much over their head right now. But now you're in LA. Ball's going to travel. And also, we got Shane Smith on the other side. I usually like Shane Smith, but again, just not a high strikeout guy. I know his last start he had a big one, but I feel like Dodgers have been just kind of giving those up lately. They've been swinging and missing a ton lately, this Dodgers team. So yeah, I think that we're getting a good spot here. And the ball's going to be flying out. We're going to get nice weather out in LA like always. And I'm perfectly content rolling with this White Sox offense right now. And also their defense sucks, so that doesn't hurt. So maybe we'll take a couple of errors in there as well. But I think this Angels team is now kind of they got to win. Like they're still in contention, right? You still have a healthy team right now. I like the top of their order. I think Shonwell has a good spot today. I like him and Neto at the top. Obviously, you go down the list and you got Ward and Trout still healthy. We'd love to see that. Knock on wood. Obviously, the league is better with Mike Trout healthy there. But the biggest number here is definitely going to be on the Logan Gilbert side. He's carrying most of the weight in this bet. So I just feel like when I take a bet with Logan Gilbert right now, it can't be anything but strikeouts. I can't take his outs over. Can't take his walks anymore. He's just been a little bit more, wild. His last start against the Rangers, kind of got hit around at the end of the game. He got soft contacted to the death. I had a bet on him in that game. He hit the strikeouts, did not hit the outs. I played both, and I lost there. But what I do like is Logan Gilbert goes to what he's good at, man. And against lefties, using that slider at 39% clip is massive. That's a 40% whiff pitch, 37.5. 59% whiff rate on his splitter against lefties right now. That is obscene. That's just a number you will not see ever. That when you throw it, it's over 1 and 2 guys are swinging and missing at it. I think this is a great spot. Obviously, you're going to see quite a few more lefties in this lineup. Should have Josh Smith at the top. Seager, obviously. But, righty on righty, it's not like he's not smoking these dudes, right? It's not like he's not getting a ton of strikeouts and swing and miss there. Using the splitter and slider at 51% clip, 52% swing and miss on the splitter against righties. And his fastball has just been kind of lights out there, and it's been very, very, very good. I just think there's too many options. There's too many options here. You got a lot of righties in this lineup on the year right now. Texas has a 22.5% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. And if you want to go even over the last, what do we want to use? I usually use the last 15. They're batting .684 OPS, which is not great. And then you add on top of that, right? Where they're in Seattle, right? I mean, that's Logan Gilbert at home is just a fucking wizard, dude. He can give up those high fly balls, and they ain't gonna do much here. So this is the worst place to hit. You have a perennial all-star every single year throwing on the bump here. And literally, he's just going out there trying to swing and miss on all these dudes. Like, he's not going out there trying to go 18 outs anymore. I'm going to see how many dudes I can strike out, and it's been awesome to watch. 35% whiff rate, top 5%. 36% K rate right now. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yes, we have seen the walk rate go up a little bit, up to 6%, but that's still top 10% or top 20%. Obviously, I think that it helps that he's being a little bit more wild in terms of strikeouts. Because now you have to worry about those balls being out of the zone. I know people are taking more pitches, but a lot more called strikes in his outings as well. So I really like Logan Gilbert to give me 7 tonight. I think it's like -160 on its own. But again, I'll tell you this every time, guys. I ain't playing juice in MLB, man. It's tough to win over long term playing juice there. So I really like the spot and think you got good plays.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, you kind of nailed it too with the Gilbert stuff. I was watching his last start really close because I did have outs as well. And it just seems like a little different version of him from last year where he was like so aggressively in the zone where, like you said, now it feels like we're living on the edges a little bit more and we are looking for the strikeouts a little bit more, maybe because there has been a little bit more hard contact against him so far this year. So when you're feeling that, you want to try to paint those corners rather than maybe going right at him. And yeah, I mean, he's just nailed it. He's absolutely nailed it. And yeah, I think it's a good matchup for him. I mean, like you said, he's one of the most electric guys in the league as well. So I always love watching a Gilbert start. And yeah, I mean, I agree with the White Sox Angels analysis as well. Obviously get that in a nice and low number. And yeah, the White Sox have been, like you said, sneaky, like good for betting, like very good.
People still ain't adjusting, man. They see the White Sox know they suck and they had the worst record ever, but fuck, man, they've been playing good baseball. Shout out to them. They've been playing good ball. So hopefully they continue to. And it's always nice to see the White Sox not be the worst team of all time.
Yeah, and it's what baseball is all about, buying low, selling high, right? And it's one of those situations where, like, everyone looks at the White Sox, they go, I would never want to bet this team. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that, they start getting things together and people still have that same mentality of I never want to bet this team. And it's like, well, it's a little bit different version of that team right now. You know what I mean? It's a long fucking season. You're going to have some good stretches. You're going to have some bad stretches. We want to try our best to kind of capitalize on those good stretches.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get a quick recap in here. I know I got to get rolling here, but we got 27 of you guys in here live. We're still at, let me check. I think we're still at 10 likes, guys. Let's get that up a little bit. Let's get a couple more likes on that video. I don't know why it helps the algorithm. I see we're at 12 now. Thank you. We're just keep pushing it up. And let's do a quick recap in here.
Sounds good. Got a little parlay. DraftKings, Bet365, Mitchell Parker, no win. Robbie Ray, 2 walks, -105.
Love it. And I will be rolling with my boy, Logan Gilbert. As always, we got to play him. White Sox, Angels over 6.5 at +107. Feeling really good spots today. I feel like we got good looks. Anything else you want to add today, Stu, before we pop out today with the 30 people still in here?
Yeah, I got a quick question for you before we get out of here, because we were arguing about this in my Discord. You know, a freaking month away from football season. Some things with my guy Scary Terry have been brought up. This feels like a really simple question to me, but I'm curious. Who do you think's a better wide receiver, Terry McLaurin or Devonta Smith? Is that a close call for you? I'm curious what you think. You're unbiased. You obviously will tell me I'm a fucking idiot if you want to, but
I don't know. I just haven't seen Devonta have to be a 1. You know, so like you have to put a little bit more stock into a guy being a 1. The tough part is McLaurin's a little older, I guess. So I mean, maybe they just aren't trying to pay him out long term.
Yeah.
And that's I'm assuming what the issue is. I'm assuming that's what the numbers are being. I'm sure McLaurin probably wants 4 to 5 years on that extension. It doesn't help that they just paid DK, right? DK Metcalf with $30 million. Like that just kind of ruins the market because DK has been fringe 10 to 12 and he's getting paid like that, so that kind of screwed him. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to pay the dude. I mean, if you don't, then it's just like, okay, well, Jane Daniels ain't gonna stay. Just fucking leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got him for a while, luckily, but yeah.
No, I know. Like you see that early in your career, you have that big of success. You beat the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, and now you're gonna just fucking let the guy who went for 200 on those guys go. I think it's a joke.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, I'm not in support of letting my guy Terry go. I wish they could get this shit settled. And, the unfortunate part is, like you said, Terry's now on the wrong side of 30 and he wants 4 years and like $33 million a year. And it's like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It reminds me of some bad deals. I think of like basketball when I think of comparisons. I think of those like Blake Griffin contracts, like these guys that were kind of not past their prime. Terry's probably got 2 more years in his prime, I would say. But then you got to then pay him like the 3rd best wide receiver in the league those next 2 years as well. So it's tricky. It's fun to think about this stuff. I was talking to the guy. I think I'm going to make a little like top 10, top 15 wide receivers in the league list just so I can kind of think through that and get my mind back in football mode. But yeah, for me personally, Terry McLaurin will without a doubt be higher than Devonta Smith on that list. Pretty easily. But, we'll see. Hopefully Terry McLaurin's not on the sidelines week 1 because then I'd be actually depressed. Right now, it's like still up in the air. You don't know for sure, but once that actually settles in and if he's actually not playing, like Terrence in the chat said, I mean, Debo, I think we're going to get a better version of Debo than we did last year, but you don't want that guy to be your wide receiver 1. And then after that, we're talking about fucking Michael Gallup and Noah Brown, which is, I guess we got fucking Christian McCaffrey's little brother. Maybe he can maybe he can turn into something this year. That would be nice. Luke McCaffrey. But that's a lot of ifs right there, and Zach Ertz is our tight. It's not like we got a great tight end either. It's Brian Robinson is our running back. Not like we got a great running back either. So really need my guy, Scary Terry, to get this settled. Hopefully we can just agree on maybe, 28, 30 mil, something like that, or maybe even an option for that 4th year instead of fully guaranteed. I don't know, but hopefully they can figure something out like very, very soon,
Yeah, it's just not a good look, no superstar's going to want to go there anymore,
But yeah, the other thing I was saying is, Brandon Ayuk for a Scary Terry trade might be in the books as well. Obviously, we got a good relationship with that team, and I don't know if you know, Brandon Ayuk and Jaden McDaniels are like buddies. They're like always together and stuff like that. So that could be an interesting one if we are gonna get rid of him. That's the only one that I could think would make any sense because no one else is gonna give up their wide receiver 1.
Yeah, dude, I that's a fucking huge step down. Like that's a huge step down.
Yeah,
That's like 3 rungs down.
I would take Brandon Ayuk over Devonta Smith.
I'm just saying, you have Brandon Ayuk, who's been what? He's been a 1C. There's like 3 1s there.
That's the problem.
You're gonna say, okay, let's double him, and let's plan for him. I ain't worried about any of these other fuckers, dude. Who else am I worried in the receiving corps for Washington?
No, yeah, nobody.
I don't have a Kittle. You don't have a Kittle who can do it by himself. Debo's fucking old. He ain't gonna be making those moves like he was at the beginning of his career. Like, I don't know, man. It's different to take a guy who's been a 1 and like,
Agreed.
or a guy who's a 3 or whatever 2.5 and move him to a 1. Schemes, man. They gotta change schemes. It's crazy, and that's why I'm like saying it's like you can't overlook that when you do it, because it's like, okay, Ayuk had nobody planning for him, bro. Like, you can't.
I mean, I would say that would be true in the first year or two, but Ayuk definitely overtook Debo at the end, and Kittle's production was a little bit lesser as well. I think the problem is you also had fucking Christian McCaffrey, so every team had to worry about that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very hard to compare all these guys in different circumstances. But I'm an Ayuk fan. I'm a fan of the
talent. I mean, you also have fucking what's a coordinator. You have probably the best offensive mind in football outside of maybe McVay. So you take that on top of it. So that's like 5 different things that all have to click for him to be at the same level. And it's just like, y'all better get some extra stuff outside of just Ayuk for that.
That's what I was saying. Ayuk can picks, but we'll see. But that's probably not going to happen. I don't know. I'm trying to cope. We just need to get this shit figured out so I don't got to watch Michael Gallup suit up. He shouldn't even be on a roster. You know what I mean? He's barely making practice squads. And I used to like Gallup back in the day, but it is what it is. Just hoping they get it done. Out of my control, but prayers up.
Yes, sir. All right, I got a dip, but appreciate all you guys for tuning in. We got 25 you guys in here still. Thank you so much. We got 16 likes. Let's try to get that to 20 before we head out. 2 bets already posted. Make sure you guys are ready to go. Lock those in. Be back Monday. We'll be back Monday. Obviously, some of these weeks they've been weird where one of us has something. So just make sure you're following over on Twitter, and we'll try to get you all the information as early as we know it. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we will catch you on Monday back after the weekend. So have a good one, guys, and good luck this week.